It's New Year's. It's like, who gives a shit? But like, there's something like huge happening. So, I had like an awesome sleep last night, and I did the witches, burn the witches live yesterday, and I was like, something big is going to end. And as of New Year's Eve, once that clock strikes, right, these people cannot hold you against your will anymore, because they're saying that like you really want to be held against your will and you want to do what they're telling you and blah blah blah, and like really you don't, right? But you just don't really know like what the heck's going on. So I went to like a zoo today, and so many animals wanted to go free. And that's why I was like, okay, well, as of midnight tonight, something huge is going to happen. So I was like, well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do a reading. I knew I was going to come live anyways. And so I thought, well, what's coming in the new year, like quick time because of whatever's stopping. And like, who wants, you know what I thought of? I was like, who wants to see you? Who wants to kiss you? And who wants to end things? So I thought those were really good questions. And it'll either resonate or it won't. Like, I don't even know if anybody's going to come on live with me. I have no idea. It's not really about, I guess, really maybe who's here. It's more about, I don't know the answers. Fucking questions. So many people got questions. So let's start it. What is coming in for New Year's? For the collective that has kind of been feeling these last few readings I've been doing about something just kind of not really feeling right. Remember for the thumbnail, I did what I would consider the Two of Cups. This is what this deck would consider the Ace of Cups. So it's a cup that then turns into two. So we get this grounding with balance. So I'm not sure like if the new year suddenly just makes sense. Calmer energy. There's fertility, incubation, and alchemist. Okay, so I can't ignore this. Masculine energy on the bottom with the feminine energy, okay, with winter in between them. So this is I think this is an incoming relationship for somebody, finally grounding something, bringing it together. It's been hidden or, docile for a while now. And this could be somebody that like you end up, I don't know, starting a business with or starting a family with, or yeah, this looks like a relationship. Three of Cups. Could be your friend. Maybe they're your friend right now, or you want to get in with them as a friend. The masculine might come in. See how the masculine might come in as a friend. Okay, kind of like wanting to talk or something like that. There's the Wheel of Fortune. And he doesn't really know what's going to happen. He kind of just goes like, okay, well, maybe you'll get like a Happy New Year or something. Did the spy bots all come on? Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm all right. It seems like he doesn't really know what is going to be said. He's just kind of being like, okay, well, I'm going to pick any fate, and I'm going to say like Happy New Year or something, right? And I don't really know how it's going to go. In the Lap of Luxury, 9 of Pentacles. So this masculine energy, I think, has quite a bit of money. They might have quite a bit of money now. You might know this person maybe from the past. They've been silent on you for a while now, right? And now they've done a lot of grounding to balance themselves. They could be a Sagittarius because of the balance. That is kind of giving me Sagittarius energy with this grounding. And like we're in Capricorn energy now, which would be, would be earth energy, which is right there. And then winter, we're literally in winter right now. We just stepped in winter on the 21st. So this is leading to somebody reaching out. What's this feminine energy got to say? I just heard, what's love got to do with it? Tina Turner, like as soon as I started channeling this chick, Tina Turner came on instantly. I don't know if you're Ike Turner and you beat the shit out of her one time or something like that. Knight of Wands, literally, look, as I'm holding this, what does he do in the fucking hotel? He goes crazy, he tries to kill his wife. Oh my God. Okay, maybe that's why. Like, maybe this was like a really passionate relationship or something, and something got out of hand. Okay, and that's why they really don't know what you're gonna say. Or maybe this is, like, I think it's a relationship, but it could be a friend that, like, you had a really, really bad blowout with. Okay. Four of Pentacles in reverse. Chariot in reverse. Five of Cups, and then the Five of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. Like, I think maybe, okay, so maybe this woman, okay, has been in a really bad situation. Kind of scared of the future. What the future is going to have. What it's going to hold. Something like that. And then the Chariot in reverse with the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Going nowhere with money. Going nowhere holding on to money, or just going nowhere. Getting nowhere. So maybe this is like the reboot they need. You know, like maybe you're like, if your life is like really kind of like boring or something like that, boring, stagnant, nothing's really happening, you're not really going anywhere. Maybe spirit's like, this person comes back and you think like, holy fuck, the last time we saw each other, we were throwing fists at each other. It's almost like now I'm getting, oh man, I was watching in The Office last night when, fucking, I don't know what Roy and Jim see each other at the bar, and Roy already like threatened Jim before, and they have to like sit beside each other, and Roy's totally cool. He becomes a totally different person. He becomes like, so like when they go back and then they go to his wedding, they end up going to Roy's wedding, he's like fucking barely even drinking, he's taking piano lessons, like he's like completely different person, right? So Pam's like, no, this is not how he is. This is not how he is. And like, people do change. Like, I'm a spinning image. Like, I changed a lot, and I know how much I changed. And I changed because I didn't want to be anything like my parents, and I was a spinning image of my parents. So if I didn't like them, then I obviously didn't like myself. So I was like, okay, fuck it. I'm going to have to strip this all the way down to the base and start building up a personality that I want to be, right? You have to pick who you want to be. And like, unfortunately, we take like awful traits from our parents, right? We take some of the most awfulest habits from our parents, but we also take really awesome ones. And when my sister was driving today, oh my gosh, she was making me laugh because she was just reminding me of my dad so much. And I was like, you are your father's daughter right now. And she, oh my God, I laughed so hard. I was crying. I was laughing so hard because I was like, I don't know why our dad was just coming through her so funny today. And I was like, I don't know if he's dead. I don't know if he's dying. I don't know why all of a sudden, my sister was my father. It was a really weird energy to look at. And like, I don't know why I'm getting that all of a sudden, but I don't know, like somebody could be, maybe, I don't know, because this is the new year with this whole spell and everything. If somebody dies, that has been connected to keeping you in a really low energy, then this person would come back because the energy that you were in before was a part of the life that you had before. If you're not a part of that life anymore, then stepping into your future, even if all of a sudden you're looking at the past, if you're a different person, people can change. And sometimes it doesn't work in one, lifetime, and then it comes back around and it works again, right? Like, we can't sometimes pick and choose who we're supposed to be with. Sometimes it just happens. And no matter what you do, you come back to the same person all the time. Like, my one ex-boyfriend is in my dreams all the time. And I don't know why. And I'm always just like, I always kind of wake up a little bit puzzled, but in the dream state, I'm not puzzled by it. It's just normal that he's there. And it's really weird because he hasn't been around for years. He won't talk to me. But in my dream state, actually in my dreams right now, he's building a house, which is really weird. I walked by it the other day and he was building this house, and my sister went, "Oh, do you want to go over and say hi?" And I went, "No, he looks actually really busy." And then he saw me and he waved, and I just waved back. Like, how you are in the dream state. Like, okay, for instance, my father's like never helped me. Like, never, he's never been there. He's never been a father. He just always wants to be a husband. That's all he wants. And in my dreams this one time, I was like carrying all these bags. I was coming from a mall. I was carrying all these bags. I had no car. I was on my feet, so I was walking, and I had all these bags, and I was walking up this huge hill. My dad has always owned a truck. My whole life, he's always owned a truck. He drives by me, get this, he slows down, honks the horn, waves at me, and continues driving in the same direction I'm walking. And when I woke up, I went, that's what he's done my whole life. Like, he sees me struggle, and he's got everything that I need that can help me. And he just chooses to continue driving. He always just chooses to screw me at all these marks in my life where I've needed my father the most. He just doesn't help. And it's just one of those things I've just gotten used to. Like, that's why I don't want him around, because if he's not going to help me ever, I don't want to just go out for lunch with him. I don't want to just talk to him on the phone like we're girlies. If you can't help me, what's the fucking point of you being around? Because we're all here to help each other. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like, there are things my father can't do that I would love to help him with, but his fucking wife interferes. His wife always interferes with everything we try to do. She steps in, says she can't handle a relationship with us. My father walks away. So when he drove away in that truck, I was like, that's a perfect analogy of what my father does in real life. So what your dreams tell you is a lot how people are treating you. Okay. And sometimes, like, however way that you see some of your exes or some of your, really exes, okay, or ex-friends, ex-lovers, right? How you see them in your dreams is often what is going on. I also saw that same ex, and we were in a pool together. We were all swimming, and I was super scared. And he was like hanging out in the corner with like all of his friends that I knew, and I wouldn't leave his side. I wouldn't leave him. And he was like, you're fine. Like, I'll watch you. Like, no one's going to do anything. And I was like, nope. And I literally sat beside him, and I like held onto his leg. Like, there are really weird things that we do in our dreams, right? And we don't know why we do them, but it explains the situation of whatever it is we're going through with that person. Because sometimes people, they can't speak. They don't know what to say. They have no idea what to say. So they just go silent, right? That's the only way they can do it. But they don't realize that as they're going through their head and they're going through all these things that happen, and they're thinking about you, or they're looking at you while they're, going through all this in their head, a lot of times that other person will pick it up. They will recognize, hey, all of a sudden, okay, why am I thinking about this person? And that other person, they have no idea, is trying to figure out everything by looking at them, right? We will answer each other's questions. We will hear each other, right? It's just whether or not you have the ability to be silent enough to hear what you're being told, because it's not this loud voice that screams at you. It's this inner knowing. It's this voice that you hear, and it's weird to hear and it's weird to talk about, but it explains so much because people get so scared about telling the truth. Okay, the truth is something that people they run away from. And if this person's been super sad or super isolated, the way they come back into your life could be a little like, I don't know, maybe possibly aggressive. But the reason why it seems aggressive, or why it might look aggressive to some people, is because most people are used to being coddled, right? They're used to being like tippy toe, don't approach somebody. And so most people, they don't really understand that aggression usually is just people being straightforward, right? Suddenly it's aggressive. Why? Because I'm telling you what it is without sugarcoating everything. Like, why do you need so much sugar? Why do you need it coated? Like the truth is the truth, right? But most people can't handle the truth. So what looks aggressive to one person is just normal to another. Right? It's just how we've been communicated with, right? How sheltered we've been. Okay, so what's this Watchtower of the North? Judgment, karma. Death, Scorpio. This is the end and the beginning. Knight of Pentacles. Slow and steady wins the race. That's so funny. Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So that's why I'm like, I think this is going to happen pretty quickly. Like, whatever this is, it's not going to be, like 27 dates and then you finally sleep with each other. Like, this might be something that goes quick. And the reason why it goes quick is because you know this person. And even if you don't know this person, there's a sense of knowing this person. Because anybody that chooses to suddenly talk to you is in their mind taking a huge gamble. Like, it's not easy to just like ask somebody out. Okay. Oh my God, look at this. The Fool. Okay, with the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. How cute is this? The Ace of Wands was kind of in reverse, though. So I almost feel like that's why this person's like, okay, well, I don't want to put like too much behind it, but at the same time, I got to let them know. So where's like, they will find a fine line, I believe, because they're in Maybon. They're balanced, right? They're pretty good right now. So I think they'll make the right decision with how they choose to take this leap of faith. Because it is kind of a leap of faith. I mean, with the whole fucking pick a fate, any fate card and the Fool, take the step. Like, that to me is like, they really are going to, this is going to be really hard for them to do. And I don't know why. I don't know why. Because that's why I'm like, man, I don't know if this person fucking like really does not know you. So they don't know how weird it's going to look. So they're just going to be like, just start talking to you like they know you. And that's really what's weird, because they're like, not everybody will talk to a complete stranger. So I don't know if that's the case. And at the same time, it could be somebody from the past that's coming back around that's like, I don't know how this is going to go. But, just always remember, okay, if it doesn't go well, if you ask somebody out and they like say no or they totally crush you, you'll just block them on Facebook and stuff so they don't see you for a while. Okay, and then you can get back your pride and like, get rid of all that shame or whatever, and then take your fucking life back. Okay, if that's how you feel like you're gonna take it, I don't really know, but like you can always block them. So then you're like, I'm terrified you're going to say no. I don't know why this person is so terrified you're going to say no. 8 of Cups. Like, honestly, like they really think that maybe you did walk away from them before. That's why I'm like, it's going to be different for everybody. I'm not quite sure what happened in the past, if there is a past, but they do think you're just going to walk away, or you're going to look for something. You always been looking for something different, but then look at that, the Hangman in reverse. Like, that to me is like, they're not going to hang in this energy of wanting to just walk away. Right? They're kind of a straight shooter. King of Swords, the Empress, the King of Cups. Welcome to the world of the emotionally balanced man. With the Empress, who's everything, and the King of Swords. The intellectual authority of the traditional King of Swords, who doesn't lie. So, like, this person's not lying. Like, they're not going to hang out in an energy they don't like. Or they're not going to hang out in an energy that they want to walk away from. So they're not just going to amuse you. Some people will just do things to amuse you, or like guilt, by guilt trip or something. They're not going to do that. King of Cups. I think that stands for both of you. You're both maturely balanced. Okay? Emotionally balanced. 6 of Swords in reverse with the Page of Cups in reverse. Like, this is not something immature. Like, this person, 4 of Swords in reverse now, they're not healing anymore. Okay? This is not about... I think they are definitely thinking about, taking, like, this person definitely wants to, like, jump a lot of phases, and I don't know if that's what you guys are going to do. If you're going to jump a whole bunch of phases, I don't know, but whatever it is, it seems to work out. And then there's wand intention. So there's been an intention set, you know, that seems to be a straight shooter, right? They're just not out causing things. Okay, so that's what's coming in. Someone's getting a relationship mad quick, okay? Let's see. Who wants to see you? Is this the right? As I said that, I was like, is this even the right deck to choose? Like, what the fuck? The crows just jumped into my hand. But then I cut the deck and like, look, we got warning and self-interest. So who wants to, this might be who wants to end things with you. Okay, so who's getting broken up with, I guess? Who wants to break up with somebody? Wrath? No way. Nicely done, crows. Okay, we have the Wrath card and we have the Isolation. So the person who wants to end things is somebody who's been isolated from people and they are getting pissed off about it now. They don't want to live away from their group. Right? Like they have a group and this obviously they have not been able to hang out with their people. Oh my gosh, and look what just came out, anticipation. And look at he's sitting there and it's all those tables are empty, but there's anticipation that everyone's gonna eat soon. And if everybody eats, then everyone's gonna start dropping crumbs, which means all these motherfuckers get to have a little snack, right? It's like anticipation, like they've been really waiting to get out. They've been waiting to do something, and that's why they're getting so angry that they can't do it. They're I don't know, maybe why they're thinking this spouse is suddenly going to change and let them run free. Like, no. Upheaval, look at that. Suddenly, I don't know if this person, suddenly somebody just moves out or somebody midnight moves, kicks somebody out as soon as they go to work, something like that. But there's an upheaval. So this is coming in the new year. Upheaval, dominance, yeah, because somebody's been dominating the situation way too much. You don't get to do that. I mean, you can do whatever you want in relationships, but clearly with this person, they're like, you don't get to do this. You don't get to keep me away and say, you know, like, what if this person has something wrong with your family or something? And they're like, well, your family doesn't like me. So like, what am I supposed to do? And you're like, well, you know, like, I didn't do what you did. So I don't know what you, like, why can't I go and see them? Like, you can't just make me stay here. Like, what the fuck? I got people to see. But then they're like, you know, they might threaten you in some way, perspective. So now I'm getting, somebody just said it in my head, it's time for a different perspective. It's time to see this a different way now, that maybe why you're getting so angry with this person is because they're sometimes we get displacement and we take our anger out on other people and on other situations because of what one person's doing, and we don't realize what that person's doing because we're kind of just, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it's not happening. So we just keep taking it out on everybody because we don't know exactly who's stabbing us in the back, right? We can't quite see. So we'll just start attacking everybody, right? Because it's like, well, who's fucking with me? Somebody's fucking with me. I don't know who it is. And it's like, it's the one you're committed to. Literally, that just came out, commitment. So it's this relationship. It's somebody that you made a home with, somebody you made a nest with, you made a commitment with, is now going to be upheavaled. And it's because of this isolation. Preparation and communication. So that's what's happening in the new year. Prepare for communication. So Spirit's like, obviously this is somebody you could be, I don't know, maybe they're trying to tell you beware your boyfriend or girlfriend might be, or wife, you know, might be breaking up with you because of, you know, what you've chosen to do to them and what you've chosen to take away from them, and right? Or this has something to do with you in a sense where somebody changes their perspective on a relationship and then suddenly you come in to play somehow. I don't know. Maybe this is like one of your friends that you haven't seen and you know they're in an abusive relationship and you're like, I can't even fucking see my own friend. I've been friends with her for 20 years. Why can't I see her? You know, because they don't want like when honestly in fucked up relationships like this, they're never going to want you to hang out with your friends, right? Because without them being there, if they can't be there and you go hang out with your friends, the first thing they're going to think of is that you're talking about them with your friends, which is the whole reason why you go hang out with your friends, is to talk about your problems, right? And if you don't want to talk about your problems and whatever it is you're doing, but a lot of people, you know, will go like, you know, okay, this is my time to start venting, right? You don't really, sometimes people don't even hear everything because it's not about the friend memorizing everything that this other person's saying. It's just about this person being able to let it go, right? Release it, vent it out, say something. Right? So for some reason, it's got something to do with you. I don't know. But you can't keep people away from each other. Well, you can't, yeah, like in any stance. And then look what's on the bottom of the deck, resistance. Like, because the more, even no matter how strong the wind is, right? No matter how hard they push, right? These people you won't stop trying to get to, clearly, right? So their threats and whatever it is they're doing, it's useless. It doesn't mean anything. All it's doing is just putting more tension on the relationship, because it's like, well, you're telling me to do things that I'll never do. You're asking me to do things I'll never do. Therefore, if you don't stop, it's just only going to put a grudge between you and I. You can't stop. You can't ask somebody to not see their family. You can't tell somebody that, you know, by the way, I don't want you to see your mom and dad. So if you do, I'm going to fucking, you know, end things with you. Like, that's all. People don't, I think people don't really realize how much they're getting threatened, right? And like almost blackmailed, you know, like if you do this, I'm going to do this. And I know that you did this. So fuck, you know, like it's people are so vindictive and they're so abusive that sometimes you don't even know or notice that someone's abusing you because they do it all the time. That it's like, well, that person does it all the time. Well, just because somebody does it all the time, that would be like the cops being like, oh, okay, you rob banks all the time. We'll just leave you alone. Don't worry about it. You go ahead. You do it all the time. No worries, man. We only catch the ones that do it once. Like, no, right? That's not how the fucking law works. So why would it be how a relationship works, right? Come on. But sometimes you got to change your perspective in order to see what's happening right in front of you that you're mistaking for something else because you are used to being screwed over, abused, lied to, fucked over, right? Okay. Man, this is kind of going fast. Whoop, whoop. Okay, what else did I write down here? All right, who wants to see you? All right, let's see. Who wants to see you tonight, collective? Take what resonates, see what doesn't. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Working on the night moves. Just trying to catch some aqua teenage blues. I fucking love that song. All right, Happy New Year, everybody. The spell is being broken. Hey, Pam! Fucking didn't even see you there. I've been looking at this fucking chat the whole time. Didn't even see you there. I worked till 7. That sucks. I went out and bought some aquarium plants today. I went to the zoo. Whoop, whoop. Well, the reptile zoo. It was pretty awesome. I had a pretty good time. Okay, who wants to see you? Woohoo! Okay. We got the Sun card. That's a good sign. Cemetery Gates. With the Sword and the Stone in reverse. We got the Retaliation card. With the Lightning card in reverse. Creepy. And On. Okay. Who wants to see you? So the message I just got is, it's creepy how happy you're gonna be when you hear from this person. Like, obviously this is somebody that's going to contact you, whoever wants to see you. It's going to be creepy how happy you are when you see them. I don't know if they're going to contact you. I don't know if you're suddenly just going to see them. Okay, but Spirit's like, there is no joke, there is no lie in how quickly this could happen. Okay, because I think this relationship has been dead for a while, or you have been out of the dating scene for a while. It's like you're coming back from the dead. Okay, it's like something's coming back from the dead, and it's so on, right, that the relationship adds like a retaliation to everybody around you. Like, ha, fuck you, motherfuckers. Like, you all thought that this wasn't going to happen. And like, I don't really know if that's actually how it is, or if that's how it's like spiritually going to be. Okay, but there's the mist. So there could be a man and a child in the mist, waiting in the mist for somebody. Okay, look at this. We have the prophecy card. So this is definitely something that could possibly happen. Okay, there's the boat. This is something that could possibly, Spirit can see happen. Okay, they're just unsure of the timing. Okay, they're unsure of the timing. Okay, we got the running scared with the girl and the ghost beside her. It's like I don't know if this person is getting like kind of a little bit fucked with right now. And maybe that's why, like, okay, this could be somebody that just suddenly you run into, bang. Okay. And you go like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? Hello. And they're like, you're going to talk to me? And you're like, why wouldn't I talk to you? Well, because last I heard, you wanted to like kick the shit out of me, or you wanted to beat me up, or you wanted like, I'm fucking like pretty scared of you. And you're like, I'm so happy to see you. What are you talking about? See how things can get like, oh man, some things can just get in your head and just fuck with you so bad, right? Or like people, people can be so vindictive and they can lie so much. And because they're close to you, or because you know them, right? You think, well, why would this person lie to me? But you wouldn't believe the garbage that people listen to and actually go like, oh yeah, for sure, that's real. Like, what? Right? Like the things that people will believe that are so, couldn't be farther from the truth. Okay, really couldn't be farther from the truth. And maybe that's, maybe you're going to come, maybe this is somebody like you come across somebody and you've heard the most ridiculous rumors about this person, and they come up to you and you're like, I don't really want to talk to you. And they're like, why? And then you go, well, like, I mean, I heard this, and this. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because it could be something like that too, right? It's like unforeseeable forces, right? Keeping people apart, but your magnets are finding each other, right? And no matter how dead you think it is, if it was really dead, then you wouldn't be trying to find one another, because your magnetic pulse, right? Your magnetic pull would be going towards somebody else. So why would you run into this person? I almost feel like ask yourself that. Okay, that's kind of cutting to the heart. Like, why would you suddenly run into this person, right? If it wasn't meant to be. Because that's how you kind of have to look at things sometimes. It's like, I mean, pull the fucking rabbit out of the hat, whatever you want to fucking say. Is like, okay, really, you want me to say that? You wouldn't believe the response you could get by like walking up to somebody that you just don't know, right? The one that you're uncertain of, that you've heard things about, but you really like, you're so happy to see them, that if you're that happy to see them, how could something that somebody's saying be real, right? It's almost like sometimes, like I said, people say things because they just don't like somebody, or they just are pissed off that day, right? Like, honestly, my aunt, I found out I had scoliosis this one time, and you only find out once. and I was living at my aunt's house, and I was kind of like fucked up about it. And like, I don't, I don't talk to my parents or anything. So I told my aunt, I was like, well, today, like I found out like, and like, it's not just like little scoliosis. It's like stage 5. Like it's awful. Like it's really bad. And she was in such a huff that day about something. And she's like, yeah, well, I have scoliosis, and walked away. And I was like, okay, never heard you say that, but whatever. Like, and then I kind of wanted to talk to her about it, but then she wouldn't talk to me about it. So years go by, and I'm at her house again, or I'm living with her again or something. And I was like, oh, like I was talking about my back or something. And I go, well, how's your scoliosis? And she goes, scoliosis. She goes, I don't have scoliosis. And I didn't even say, you told me that you did, because she's fucking delusional. She's crazy. Right. And when you know somebody's lying to you, which I knew she was, which is why I brought it up again, right? When you know somebody's lying to you and you bring it up again years later, like watch them stumble on that lie, because they will not remember, especially if they were in a huff or they said something out of spite. It's so easy to bring it up in later years and be like, well, don't you remember saying blah, blah, blah? And they're like, no. And it's like, huh, I fucking caught you. And it's like, you don't even have to say anything. I didn't even say anything to her. I never said anything to her again. I was like, and now I know you're a little fucking cry for wolf. Like, you want everything to be happening to you at all times. And if the spotlight is not on you, you fucking throw a little temper tantrum, and you're a 50-year-old woman. And honestly, it's embarrassing. Right? But nobody calls her out for her shit. And that's why I'm like, then your parents don't truly love you. Your family doesn't truly love you. If they aren't calling you out on your shit, that's what family's supposed to do. Is call fucking their stupid brothers and their stupid cousins out on when they're acting like idiots. That's what family's for. You can't go anywhere. You're all supposed to love each other. Like that's kind of what families are for. But when they start to coddle that one person that they know is kind of crazy, then the coddling just never stops. And then the real information never comes out. Okay. Like, I got into such a bad fight with my ex-boyfriend this one time, and his mother, there was a restraining order right away. And his mother, she came to the house the next day to get the dogs. He had like a lot of pets and stuff like that. And like, honestly, I felt I felt unwanted being there. Like the second I woke up in the morning, I was like, I should not fucking be here. This is not my house. But I lived there. I moved in with them. But his mom came, and she was like, she left her number, and she was like, okay, well, text me. So then Shane, sorry, didn't mean to say his name, but so he can come back and be with his animals, so he doesn't have to hang out at my house all weekend. So I left. I had to pack up a hefty amount of stuff, right? I was trying to leave for a while. I packed up all my stuff. I had like fucked up my whole hand. It was all taped up and like sutures and everything. So I'm like trying to pack with one hand, and I'm like trying to fucking get myself together. And then I got to go to the police station because I got into a car accident the day before, as well as getting into this awful fight with my ex. So like my whole world just like ended in one fucking day. So I'm like going down to the cop's office, and like finally I'm like, oh shit. It had been like maybe 45 minutes after I left the house. I'm like, I didn't text his mom to tell him. So I texted her right away. But then I was on the road to my parents' trailer, which was like 2 hours away. So I didn't look at my phone. Once I got to my parents' trailer, his mom had like texted me like sheets. Remember back in the day, you used to get like, it would say like 1 of 5 pages. You remember those text messages back in the day? Oh my God. She had sent me like a 7-page text. I didn't even know how to like get to the first page. And I'm like, my dad and my stepmom were sitting there, and I'm like fucking crying. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like this guy I love to death. Like I still think about him. He's the one in my dreams. Like, I don't know what to do about this guy. He's all around me all the time. And I'm like, I'm crying. I'm bawling my eyes out. My parents are like, just don't answer her. Just don't answer her. You told her that you were gone. And she was like, you were just a body in his bed, and you and him were never going to go anywhere. And like, she was talking to me kind of like an ex-girlfriend almost. And like, I remember just handing the phone to my stepmother, and she just turned my phone off, and she was like, don't pay attention to her. Don't talk to her. Don't anything. We'll turn on your phone in the morning. And I remember going to sleep that night and turning my phone on in the morning. And I honestly, I think I sent her one message to just be like, okay, like I understand, blah, blah, blah. And then you couldn't block people's number back then. But I remember just, again, I was at the cottage. I turned my phone off. I was like, I'm not turning it back on again. And I don't think she messaged me again. And she told her son, which I didn't find out for like years later, she didn't tell her son that I texted her for 3 days later. 3 days. She just wanted to keep him at her house. he used that against me. Like, well, why didn't you text me? Why did you make me sit at my mom's house for 3 days? And I was like, I was gone in like, I don't know, an hour after your mom was there. Like, I was terrified. I fucking ran out of the house. Are you kidding? Do you think I wanted to be there? Like, your cats were there. Your animals were there. Like, I know she took his dogs, but like, fuck. Like, I didn't want to be there. That wasn't my house. Like, and I was like, I couldn't believe she said that, because then I had to like go back into my memories and go like, wait a second. No, like, I know I messaged her because she lectured me back. She lectured me on how her son didn't even like me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like, I kind of forgot that because it had been like years. Like, it had been like, I don't know, like 10 years maybe since I had talked to him. And all of a sudden he's like, you know, this obviously had been thinking about it for 10 years to bring that up. And I'm like, I didn't do that. But you see what people can do when they twist the truth, right? When you tried your hardest to do something and they just kill it anyways, because there's a third party interference, somebody that can just go, yeah, I'm going to twist that a little bit because I don't want my son going near you. I don't want my daughter going near you. So I'm going to lie on their behalf and say, you know, protect my son or protect my daughter. And like, honestly, I do get it. I do understand. But like, to lie to him, to say that I'm still at his house when like she knows he has like animals, like those animals didn't eat. Some of them didn't eat for 3 days. They needed to eat. Like, that's why I got the fuck out of there. Like, I didn't feed them. Like, who the fuck fed them? I think maybe his brother went over. I don't know. I think he ended up telling me that somebody went over and like my car wasn't there and I wasn't there, but I hadn't messaged his mom. So they just assumed I was going to come back. And I'm like, but my stuff was gone. Like, I was gone. I messaged your mom. Like, what the fuck? But like, and that was 10 years later. You wouldn't believe like the relationships that you've lost that have been literally sitting in a cemetery dead. I actually drove through a cemetery today. I just remembered. I was trying to look for my great grandparents' gravestones. And so my sister and I drove through this cemetery today. I totally fucking forgot. And I was wondering if that was going to come up, because then that makes it seem like because I drove through a cemetery, I got a message from a loved one. Oh, the girl and the ghost beside her. See what I'm saying? Oh, see why this is creepy? Oh my God, this is why it's creepy. Oh my God, this is why it's creepy. So I picked up a friend at the cemetery today who gave me a message that somebody has been running terrified of you for years. And when you see them, you're going to be so happy and they're going to be like, you don't want to kill me? And you're like, what? Why would would I want to do that? Retaliation. What the heck do you mean? There's no retaliation here. I didn't do anything. Why is retaliation turned on? Like wow, delusional on the bottom of the deck. You lie, you fry. Honestly, like the universe always knew this was going to happen. They always knew you're going to tell the truth, just like the universe always knew that randomly me and that guy were going to have a beer, 10 years after we got broken up with, for him to find out a lie that his mom told him. Like it was lined up from the universe. Like it was so weird. I went and had a beer with this friend who like I thought was my friend, but turns out he had this like massive crush on me and then turned it all against me and ruined everything. Anyways, I went to have a beer with him who I hadn't seen for a while, and I thought about my ex-boyfriend and I thought, well, hey, we should call him, because I didn't have his number. That guy gave me his number because we were all friends, and he actually answered and then came to the bar, and I was like, what the fuck it was like a dream. I was like, and all of a sudden he was in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you and I haven't seen each other for 10 years. How are you sitting in front of me right now? How's this happening? This is the creepiest thing in the world. But some things are lined up to happen. They're lined up. For whatever reason, he needed to find out that his mother lied to him. Like, it had been chasing him like a ghost for years, making me look like the bad guy. Maybe that's why, like, this is coming to an end. Like, the boat is in motion. It literally just moved, and I put it over top of prophecies. It's moving right now. Oh my gosh, look at this. The fly on the wall. Okay, so whatever this ghost is I picked up from the cemetery, they're a ghost on the wall in this person's house. Okay, and look at what came out. Horrible choice. Like, what happened in this relationship, it's a horrible choice in reverse, because the thing is that sometimes we are not in control of the choices that people make for us. Okay. And we come back to them, or we, sometimes we lose things forever because of what somebody else decides for us. And we don't even know. We have no idea. Like, those fucking fucked up movies where like the girl is trying to go to college, and the whole time the dad is like burning all the college letters that are saying, they're accepted, and just keeps saying that, oh, they're just not writing you back. They're just not writing you back. I don't know what's happening. Like she's getting all the rejects, but she's not getting any of the accepted, right? Because there's an interference, or somebody who's lying, trying to keep them there because they're trying to get this person to think that the relationship is dead, right? But it's not. Fucking riddle me that. Yeah, this is a little bit creepy. Like, I can see this kind of being a little bit creepy of seeing them and the whole thing being total opposite of what you thought. See, assumptions. I don't know if they just thought that they should believe somebody. They assumed they were telling the truth, and they really weren't. There's God. That mofo. There was some definitely organized destruction. So somebody orchestrated you to lose a relationship. Oh my God, and look at Eric Draven right there. What happens? His relationship doesn't end because he wants it to. It ends because they decide they want to kill them. It's not in their hands. Some things are not in our hands. They're in somebody else's. Sperm donor. With the dead end and melting. With the song. And delusional again on the bottom of the deck. What's the song? Maybe it's just the rhythm you guys have together. Ha! Oh my God, you know the song I got? Jimmy Eat World, Sweetness. Whoa! I freaking love that song. Oh my God, I used to crank that song in my car. With a little sweet and sapphire in me. Ooh, this is Sweetness. Are you listening? Whoa! Oh, I gotta download that song. I haven't had that song on my iPod for a while. That is a fun song. That is a fun song. I'm not a big Jimmy Eat World kind of. I think that's like the only song. Oh no, there's another song that I like by them. It's just those peppy songs, like the 1 out of a million song that I can actually tolerate on the radio. That's one of them. So this is pretty sweet. Like, I don't know, man. Revenge is the best when it's against people that you didn't even know were playing against you. And you're like, ha! What do you think of this move, Mom? And she can't do anything because she's not in charge of you. Okay. Let's end things with, okay, I really wasn't going to do this because I'm not some cheesy fucking bitch, okay? I'm really not. I'm not cheesy. You know I'm not cheesy. I don't bring the cheese. I stay away from the cheese. But I did write down the question, who wants to kiss you? And I was like, Whitney, seriously? And I'm like, well, what do you do at midnight? You fucking kiss somebody. Okay? And that's just what happens. Like, I don't make up the rules. So I thought, well, it's kind of fitting, to be honest, because that is what you do. So, I was going to get champagne too. And I just don't drink. All I do is get high, so I don't need to drink. So I don't think about picking up alcohol like ever. So I didn't get champagne for mimosas. But if you're drinking a mimosa tonight, enjoy one for me, because I fucking love those things. Okay, let's see what these say. have the Phoenix, heartbroken, and self-indulgence. Okay, so we got heartbroken in reverse. And I almost feel like we're not going to do the Phoenix in reverse, but I don't really feel like this person, like maybe they've just changed their mind about you. Somebody might have needed time to heal away from you and focus on themselves, because it's not like they were heartbroken, but they were sad about something. It's something kind of just blocking them. Okay, so now that they feel like they're not being blocked anymore, now they want to move back in again, kind of thing, right? I don't know. Maybe they're going through, like, I don't know. Let's see. Change their mind, maybe. Four of Needles, yeah, in reverse. That's the opposite of healing, right? Like that would be healing in reverse. This person's not, maybe they did a lot of healing, and that's why it's not that they're heartbroken and need time away because of that. They're just King of Wands, 8 of Wands, and 10 of Cups. It's almost like they needed to figure out what they wanted, and maybe they did it quicker than what they thought. Right? Maybe they made some decisions faster than what they thought it was going to take them. Right? Because sometimes you think you're going to be so fucked up about something or so messed up about it, and then, now I'm getting this movie, and the mother had just died, and the kid's just this young kid, and he's walking with his dad, and his dad thinks that he's all depressed because mom died, and he's like, no, Dad, like, I know I'm supposed to be thinking about mom, but like, I'm in love. Like, sorry, I mean, I would love to cry about mom, but like, I'm in love. It's not dead mom that's got me strung up, right? So it's like maybe something like that, maybe something happened, right? And they didn't need the time to heal like they thought they did. Ooh, death in reverse. Like, it's something about, like, they have changed, right? They have changed, but it's not like big drastic death. The death that makes us question everything. It's more like the death of, like, okay, well, that just made some room for everything else. But I thought it was going to be awful, but really, I'm not really feeling anything. Okay. 3 of Presents with the Queen of Presents and the Hierophant. Okay, so now I think this person's like a little bit like, okay, well, now what do I do? Yeah, look at that. Page of Cups on the bottom. Okay, now what do I do? Now what do I say? Now how do I do this? Now that I know what I want, how do I get it? Once you know, how do you receive? Emperor with the, Page of Swords or Knight of Swords. You fucking deliver the truth. There's justice. Okay, so this is obviously the person here. Okay, this Emperor coming up with this Knight of Swords, which is justice. Okay, so this seems to be the person that is trying to move closer to you. Okay. The truth shall set you free. Honestly, the truth shall set you free. Maybe this is somebody that you broke up with in the past or something, and they're coming back around again because they're like, wow, do you want to just get back together? Like, that was stupid. Maybe something like that. It could be something like that, but you just don't know how to say it because it doesn't hurt as bad as what you think because it doesn't, maybe something, there was displacement, like somebody used something and thought it was this person doing it all, but really it wasn't. So now they're like, okay, well, I changed. No, now I'm getting, in premonition, when he wants to have an affair, that married guy wants to have an affair, and then suddenly his wife starts trying again. And because she starts trying, it makes him not cheat on her. He decides not to have the affair, but then he dies, obviously. But that's not what I'm getting out of this. It's more like, somebody in a relationship could have been like, they thought they wanted something else. They thought they wanted, something more. So they were ready to kill it. And then they realized that they don't actually want to break up with you. So this could be somebody that moved out, parted from you in some way, did this, like, I don't know, they just wanted to be on a break or something. And you're like, okay, but you don't really think they're going to come back. I think they're going to come back because you've kind of stayed there. But once they come back, if it is your fault in some way, right, because you didn't know what you wanted, just like her, like, as the wife to the guy who's about to cheat, she has to acknowledge that it's her fault too, right? Like if your spouse wants to cheat on you, you have to ask yourself, what did I do? Like, like if is it because you've disconnected from them, you're not talking to them anymore? And that's what she says to her friend. She goes, we were roommates with 2 kids. That's all it was. And she didn't really realize that she was going to be able to go back into the past and kind of try a little bit harder, because then she realized, she's like, well, I don't really know what I'm fighting for. People don't really realize that what they want to fight for, right? And what this life is really about, right? Like, I'm supposed to be going to work. I'm supposed to, we're supposed to not have these kind of problems. And then it's like, why do I need to fight so hard for this? Well, sometimes you need to fight for those relationships, because if you're not fighting for your relationship, then what are you doing? And then there's this other show I watched where these people were giving up on their relationship and they needed to have a fight. They needed to just have a blowout where they fought for one another. They said what was pissing them off and they wanted to get through it, right? Because then when you're with somebody for so long, you stop fighting. And when you stop fighting, it's not that you're supposed to fight, but it's people need to get energy out of them, and guaranteed you're not doing it perfect every day. Not that you have to yell at each other, but you have to make sure that you're being truthful with each other all the time. So then you're letting your vessel go. You're letting all that steam out because you're standing up for yourself. A lot of people won't stand up for themselves in a relationship because they think that they have to stand up for the relationship. But the only way that the relationship can stand up for itself is if people are standing in their own energy, wanting the relationship, or the relationship doesn't have a chance. What does a relationship have if it's not the two of you? It's not this imaginary thing that keeps you together. Although, marriage contracts and rings and simple just spouses that live with you give you this fake sense of, well, we're together because we live together. Yeah, but why are you together? Because we're married. Why are you married? Because we're married. But why are you together? Because we're married. Like, you can keep going and going and going. Like, people just say they're married because they're together. But, like, why? Like, do you still like each other? Do you talk about these things? Like, are you open with each other? Do you say that you're happy? Do you want other things all of a sudden? Because sometimes you can change your mind. And this could be that kind of thing where suddenly somebody thought that they wanted to change their mind about something. They thought they wanted to separate. But really, they just needed to get back into themselves, like going and doing stuff that they wanted, taking their own self back and not just giving everything to the relationship. Because you can't just give everything to the relationship, which means you're just giving to the other person all the time. And you're never giving to yourself. If you're not giving to yourself, what the fuck is the point? You're just giving everything away. And like, who the hell does that? Right? But you end up kind of doing that in relationships if you're not trying. You just end up giving everything away because you don't really want to try. Right? And that's, now I'm getting Ritz. There's this song, there's Strength in reverse, and it's called Sleep at Night. And he's, starting to lose his relationship, and he starts to change his life because she's not accepting him for the way that he is. And then he starts doing all these changes and she's still not getting happy. So he says, like, instead of trying to go and flirt with you and have sex with you, I just want to go smoke some weed and fucking relax. Because trying to chase after you all the time and do this all the time, that's a one-sided relationship. That means the other person's not trying at all. Right? There's the Fool. Oh no, is that the World? Wow. King of Needles, there it is. Like, you have to be honest with yourself, right? Sometimes the reasons why we lose our relationships is because we're not trying, right? We expect the other person to do so much. And then when they start to stray, it's like, well, why am I even trying? Look at, they're already straying. It's like, well, you can still change it. You can still turn it around. You can always turn it around. It's your fate. If you want it to end, awesome, end it. If you don't, then, choose a different fate, choose a different option. Don't walk away then. But then they have to be truthful. This emperor has to be truthful. That's the only way that they're going to feel justified. Like, they obviously feel like they got the shortcomings of something maybe, or they got the shit end of the stick of something. And that's why they had to go off and be single because they just had to take back their manlyhood, or they had to take back something, right? Their feminism, because they've been being used, right? Like, now I'm getting, I don't know, like fucking those celebrities out there, and one was saying that she's just she feels like a sex object to her boyfriend, who's just putting her up, and making her pose all the time. And it's like, I get that. Like, there's the King of Cups in reverse. It's like, when you're not loved and when you're not being loved. Like, when you start to pull back, and you can blame it on them, or you can blame it on yourself, you can blame it on the situation, but clearly, there's the Hangman. Somebody who thought they were going to walk away didn't get very far. Ace of Cups in reverse. They really thought they wanted something else. And then Two of Wands, they really thought that they wanted to give something to somebody else, and then they would fight for that, right? Because they felt like they didn't want to fight for you anymore. But that's the thing, is like, maybe they just had to fight for themselves. They had to give it to themselves. People don't realize that. They always try to give in relationship. They think that the second they're single, they want relationship. But it's like, why do you want a relationship? Right? Like, sometimes you need to just build that credit back up in yourself, right? And then it doesn't have anything to do with the relationship. That could be another thing, blaming something and blaming the person that you're with because you're not loving yourself. That's not the cool thing to do in relationship. You know what I mean? But what the hell do I know all the time? I am just taking these readings from Spirit. King of Cups on the bottom in reverse with the Queen of Wands. Like, honestly, there's the Queen of Needles. I mean, both have to be honest. King and the Queen. They have to be honest. Put your emotions away and be honest about what you want, what you need, what you're looking for in somebody, right? Because the more you're honest about it, then you keep that going. Like, this is what we signed up for. This is what we said. There's the Queen of Pentacles. Like, lay it down. And, sometimes that foundation changes. And when, like, honestly, in Europe, like, you can just get a divorce and you don't even have to have the other person sign it if somebody decides to get a sex change. Because that's not what you signed up for. That's not what you signed a contract. You signed a contract to a man. He wants to become a woman. That contract is now void. You didn't marry a woman. You didn't sign up for that. You signed up for a man, right? Like, sometimes, honestly, it's like even the universe has your back sometimes. Even the law has got your back when suddenly people want to make a horrific mistake. And then sometimes they do, and sometimes they back out. They don't actually do it. But it's just the sense of wanting to do it that they have to fulfill. Right? So then they stop thinking about it, right? Like, obviously, people think about having affairs all the time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to do it. They need to do something bigger for themselves. So then they don't have to feel like they need somebody to fulfill something for them, right? Because that's not really what partners are supposed to be there for. Like, you're supposed to already kind of like somewhat have your shit under control, and then you just kind of, build a nice little team with somebody. Why people choose to, I don't know. Everyone's going to do a relationship differently. There's wedding rings. So like, I don't know if you're married to this person and you really thought that you were going to end it, or you really thought that they were never coming back. They could be coming back. Because surprisingly, they do believe in marriages forever, right? But it can't be forever if that person doesn't, keep their shit under control, right? Like, honestly. All right, well, I'm kind of getting tired now, so I've had a long day. So I think I'm just going to call it quits, and I might watch a movie and then go to bed. So this was really an awesome reading. I'm not going to lie. This was a lot of really, really cool things that came out in this reading. And I think it's going to be stuff that ends up happening pretty quickly in the new year. And it's tomorrow. The new year is tomorrow. So let's not forget that. And take a resident, see if it doesn't. Obviously. And if you want a personal reading, whitneymoonshine@gmail.com for 2025. And yeah, thanks for fucking hanging out with me. And I hope everything goes well. Be safe out there. Don't drink too much. And peace out. See you later. Be good. Be loved. Be great.